This video is sponsored by Wildlife Command Center Coffee. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another two filmmakers reviewing one film. And today my guest is...
Jonathan A. Moody.
Yes, you are Jonathan A. Moody. And we are here to review the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. I guess I just have to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't need to put a date because it's not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay, hold on. Are you saying that just because it dropped the it doesn't count?
Well, it's you don't have to put a date on it. So if I say, "Hey Jonathan, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre," you should automatically know which one I'm referring to. If I say I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then you should know it's the original movie.
I guess that's true because like Final Destination or The Final Destination.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the difference, you know. But I feel like that's a little different, but maybe the same thing.
I mean, there's a reason why the is not there.
Well, I thought it was because Texas Chainsaw 3D. So, you know, was this a sequel to Texas Chainsaw? No, it can't be.
No,
Sally Hardesty.
Yeah, it's a sequel to the original. And I guess we could start our review, and there will be spoilers to let people know because spoilers. So click off now and then come back later. If you haven't seen it, but it's on Netflix, so there should be no reason why you can't see it, and you can always travel the high seas if you don't want to subscribe to Netflix, even though we don't suggest you do that. But there are ways of seeing it.
What if they only do the DVDs?
Then that's their problem. Streaming is the new thing. I'm 54. If I can get used to streaming, then somebody in their 20s or 30s can too. So I'm like that. Back in the day, for people like me, there was a book called "Who Moved My Cheese," and it was about a mouse that would not eat its cheese because it was put into a different location. And it was basically a book given to employees at companies that were old, who were not willing to change with the times. So, young people, eat your cheese and watch it on Netflix. So it's not like Disney where you have to pay extra even though you subscribe. So
what do you know? No, well, I guess that's if it's supposed to be in the theater, yeah. They do that. But whatever. Yeah. We're not getting into it. We're going to get a movie.
So here's my question for you. What does this have anything to do with the original film?
Other than Sally Hardesty, really nothing.
Yeah. Why isn't this just a sequel to, or just another movie? And why is this just a direct sequel to, except for the Easter egg at the end, the end title credits scene, where I don't know, I don't even know his name. I guess he's not Bubba. I forget his name if he even has one. But
Leatherface. I mean,
well, they call him Leatherface, but does he have a name that's not Leatherface? I mean, remember, Leatherface is Bubba.
Okay, I didn't really even know that, but I guess Bubba.
in the remake and the prequel, he's Bubba.
Huh?
He's Bubba Sawyer. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't have
Mama Sawyer in the first one.
In like the first one, the Toby Hooper.
Yeah.
No, it was all men. It was all men.
Right.
Well, there's the grandmother who's upstairs.
But that's not her, because she obviously says, "This is my son." So that's the mother.
And
this
it's
really
not
confuses the fuck out of me.
It's not her son. That's the thing. She says this is where this is totally bogus. She says that he is the last of the kids from the orphanage.
Oh.
So if he's 70 or 71, which is I think what the age, which I read online, is he's supposed to be like 71. How could he then go live in that house? So if he's the last one for the orphanage and he's always been at the orphanage, when did the original The Texas Chainsaw Massacre take place?
Yeah, because that was in a house.
Yeah.
Like that was in that's I don't know.
And that would have been in the 70s.
It's so confusing.
So it doesn't make sense. What they're writing doesn't make sense because she's not his mother. But yet I read before the film came out that it is his mother, and that's why he takes the face. No, she's a mother figure.
Huh.
And then he's so heartbroken that he takes her face.
I just assumed that was the mother and that she owned the orphanage, but that's what I assumed. And now that you're saying that, that makes more sense. You know, that it's not even the mother. So
yeah, and
ridiculous.
And it sounds like everybody knew that it was Leatherface. Because the guy at the market calls Sally once the killing starts and goes, he's back. So did he kill everybody in the first movie, live at the orphanage like he was reborn or something, and then the killing of the mom triggered him, and he put the mask on and started killing again as Leatherface? Because wouldn't Sally know that's Leatherface? If the guy at the market goes, he's back, and she goes, I've been waiting 50 years. Is it 50 years for revenge or 50 years to see if he does this again?
I thought it was revenge. She waited 50 years to go kill him.
Okay, well, the guy in the market knows who Leatherface is. So why wouldn't the guy 20 years ago at the market go, hey, Sally, guess what? The guy at the orphanage is Leatherface.
You know, so that she can come in and attack him now. I don't know.
Die in 5 minutes.
Yeah, this movie. Yeah, that we're gonna get into that, I guess. At some point. I don't know if I want to get into it now or wait until like closer to the end to discuss my fucking hatred for having Sally Hardesty in this movie. Especially since the original woman who played Sally Hardesty is no longer with us. And that just seemed like a, you know, like we didn't need it. We didn't need her. We didn't need this Jamie Lee Curtis crap, you know, especially because like it felt like an afterthought. Honestly, it felt like they wrote a script and they're like, oh shit, we only have 100 minutes or whatever. Not 100 minutes.
Like 60 minutes or something, or because the film's only 83 minutes.
Right. So let's put in an extra 10 minutes or something with fucking, you know, Sally Hardesty and like stuff really pisses me off. Like, how did she know where the truck was? You know, like where the car was or whatever, where in the cornfield. Like,
I guess it's just on the road leading to the town, and she sees the truck there. I get reasons, bullshit. As they say these days, reasons. Why did this happen? Reasons. The script said because that it had to.
As Paul always says, because the script demanded it. You know, and that's the truth. It's ridiculous. The shit just gets on my nerves. But I overlook a lot of story crap and everything when there's cool kills, you know, and shit. And that's really what we're here to watch Texas Chainsaw for. I'm sorry.
Yes, those cool CGI kills.
I fucking went crazy when he was like whatever. I was like,
well, okay. Now I have to ask you a question. You sent me a message and said that the film gave you anxiety. What did you mean by that? Like, why did it give you anxiety?
So you got mad at me for saying that because you hadn't seen it yet, and you're like, and I was like, I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm just saying, movie.
Yeah, I avoided Facebook the entire day, so it's like I didn't want to hear anything.
Messenger.
Yeah,
people are writing to you is screwing everything up. So yeah, I fucking hated that like. The girls gave me anxiety. It's like most of the time I was like going, just get in the fucking car and go, or do this or do that. But they kept doing everything, and then the one lady's like, oh, they're gonna, he's gonna haunt you, was it Sally's like, he's gonna haunt you forever. He ain't gonna fucking haunt those bitches. They're just gonna go on their life and never come into this town and never look back. And he ain't gonna go stalking them. He did not go stalking Sally Hardesty. She actually has the worst part because her thing was traumatic. They did not have it nearly as bad as the way that, Sally had in the first movie, and so it was like they were trying to do the same thing with those kids, and I felt like they did not at all. Like they were not. I didn't feel the same for them. So anyway.
I felt nothing for the kids at all. These are, I guess these are now Generation Z, and these are pretentious. These are basically God, I'm blanking on the word where they think they deserve everything and they do nothing to get it. They're self-righteous, entitled. Thank you. These are entitled assholes that buy a town to then try to convert it into some hipster town by auctioning off businesses so hipster people can come in. That's what they did here in Las Vegas. They took the shitty areas and they converted them into hipster areas. So now it's cool to go down and have coffee at this hip coffee shop with homeless people sitting across the street. So it's like, I thought they deserved exactly what they got. And yep. the main guy, the black guy in it, is a fucking asshole. He's a dick. And instead of just saying, ma'am, you know what? Please show us the deed. I mean, I know she says, I'm not going to show it to you, but it's just like, look, we'll be back tomorrow. Just show me, just show us that you have this and we're cool. And of course, they probably wouldn't want her there because it ruins the hipster thing that they're trying to do. But it's like it could have been solved so easy instead of him being such an entitled ass. And the one girl who I think it's funny is people are putting pictures up of her and Franklin next to each other, and they look identical. That she is the Franklin of this movie. She is so obnoxious, and that's how these and that's why you have people out there that are on, like, let's say, the right, that don't like this type of stuff, where people find these type of people annoying who cancel everything. That is, I'm so happy that Asian guy in the bus got what coming to him. When he sits there and goes, "You're canceled, dude." It's just like, no, you're dead, dude. Because, fuck you. You're an asshole. Come into this town and think it's yours. It's not.
Yeah, well, that stuff made me laugh. That line made me laugh, but I think I saw it in the trailer or something.
It is in the trailer, yeah.
And which is kind of, I don't like it when the trailers show like the best lines in the movie or whatever, because then later I watch it like there's that Morbius trailer and I see the same lines always, and I'm like, now I'm getting kind of tired of it, So when I see the movie, I'm gonna be like, okay, that line happened. Let's get on to the, you know what I mean? Like.
Trailers ruin things. That's why that bus scene could have been a great scene if they didn't show it in the trailer so much.
Yeah.
And the line from the guy saying, watch it, you're going to get canceled, could have been funny. As they all raise their cell phones and one even has it on like a selfie stick. So, but I love that. I love that scene for the reason that they got killed. Because I was to a point, I was kind of on Leatherface's side. You're invading his town. You killed his mother, and I am so much against like the Confederate flag and all that I think it should be removed from everywhere. But the way they went and did it, you're a bunch of fucking, once again, entitled assholes.
I did like that line where she says she calls him Negro, and sorry for saying I hate that word, so myself personally, but it was a line in the movie. And then he said, fuck this, and she said, watch your mouth, and he said, you watch yours. I felt like that was like, yeah, because as I really feel like people should stick up for their beliefs and say that stuff to people. So that I was okay with, right? I was not okay with him saying, you know what, fuck you. We're gonna take your house. No, whatever, right? Like, all that stuff.
Well, it starts off bad. So they're getting gas. The guy pulls up in the truck. The guy who's from the town, the mechanic, and immediately the Franklin girl starts criticizing him, saying, "Oh, look how small your dick is." For no reason at all. This guy's done nothing to them, and she just, and then and then he comments back to her, and where she's like, how dare you speak to me when you're the one who made the comments about his penis?
Yeah. And he was only like, he was being honest about like, he needed to hunt stuff that were there or whatever, that were things like, that need to be killed in that town that are taken over, like whatever. I'm okay. So I'm not anti-gun or anything. And anybody who says like there are apparently a lot of people online saying this movie is anti-gun. This movie is not anti-gun necessarily. In fact, it's pro-gun because it's fucking using guns constantly in the movie. For protection, purposes. It's anti-school shooting. Maybe.
I like that.
Anti-gun.
Yeah, I like that the younger sister, was, that she was involved in a school shooting, and they showed the scar, and that she's intrigued, that she goes up to the mechanic and asks him about his gun, and then when she holds it, she like freaks out and kind of throws it down. Mm-hmm. And I am, for the record, anti-gun. So, and I did not think that this was an anti-gun movie, because they used guns in it. So it's like
constantly.
Yeah. So it's I find that interesting. It's just a bunch of, it's kind of like, it reminded me in a way of the musical Rent, and which I saw on stage with the woman who won the Tony for it. And I hated it because it was just a bunch of whiners who didn't want to pay rent. It's like, pay your rent. The landlord needs to make money, pay your rent. And this reminded me of that same thing, is that it's these privileged, like Gen Z people who buy this town, kind of like what Kim Bessinger did, and want to make it into this hipster place, which is fine, but it doesn't sound like they also did their research, because, the woman is still there at the orphanage. They probably should have gone out. They only said it's 4 hours. Okay, that's Vegas to LA. It's not that far. So go out and make sure nobody's there. And then they could have confronted, the woman at the orphanage.
Uh-huh. Like this seems like this was a terrible this almost feels like what was that documentary that they made about the island that tried to have the concert and everything and all that?
Fire.
You know what I'm talking about? Fire. This feels like Fire. This almost feels like because like
the Fire concert.
They didn't have everything planned out, but they decided to bring everybody there at once before anybody even went down to the ghost town and checked it out. Like, generally speaking, if you're going to be doing this stuff and you want to check this stuff out, he would have gone down, checked out everything, looked to make sure there's nothing wrong with these things before bringing a whole bus full of people there to show it off. Like, that just seemed ridiculous.
Well, it's because Gen Z people think they know everything, and they know nothing. Mm. They know very little. They know what they see on the internet, and that's about it. Because as much as I'm against guns, as much as I'm against the Confederate flag, as much as I'm against that attitude, I thought the mechanic was the nicest person there.
I liked him.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be this kind of Southern Confederate, type of guy. And he even gets the flag down, but, he kind of like pushes it on the guy, on the black guy, saying, here's your flag. And then he just let it fall to the ground. But he got up there and got it. So instead of the black guy going, oh, we got to get that flag down, which they do, just go to the mechanic and say, hey, can you do me a favor and take that flag down? And I bet he would have said yes, because he did it anyways.
Right. That was his job. His job was to make sure everything got done the way, which,
even the cops were working with them.
Yeah. And look, I know a lot of people are anti-cop too. And I think this movie showed cops in a sort of nice light in a way. They were very helpful. They were trying to do, but like the beginning of it where they were acting like the cops were going to be the bad guys or something, when they just basically wanted to stop them and say, look, we want to make sure that nothing bad happens to our town. We love our town, and so it just,
well, yeah, because they mention when they're in their car, they go, oh, they let the other guy go by. Well, yeah, because he lives in the town.
Yeah,
they know each other. So then the cops pull them over to say, yeah, like you just said, hey, we love our town. Maybe that, obviously it's a town that went bankrupt, probably had some sort of depression. Businesses started closing up. Maybe just traffic wasn't going through there anymore. Maybe like a mega mall opened up, something like that. So the town is just kind of this dead town. And they're letting them know that. They're just letting them know. And maybe they got a problem with, with like the black guy in the driver's seat, and he's kind of their leader. Maybe there's a little bit of that in there. But once the girl gives, hey, I had a relative who lived here, and she kind of gives that, I don't know, what, like the town mantra or statement or whatever it is, and the cop repeats the last, they were good. They were fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they probably would have been fine anyways.
Yeah, they would have been fine. They were just kind of giving him look, and I don't think it was a racist thing. I think it literally was hey, we don't like you young kids coming in here and buying our town and deciding to fuck it up. Like, we want to make sure this doesn't become like a party town, that this becomes a, you're actually trying to rebuild it to be something, well, worth it, kind of thing.
I'm going to guess not, because the one goes like, oh, there's where my art gallery would be. So, it would be more art gallery, flower shop, coffee shop. I mean, it would be stuff that would bring in business. They would make money, maybe. But even the younger sister says it's 4 hours away. Who's going to come here?
Yeah. Like, you have to live in the town for people to want to probably come there. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. So it's to me, it's silly that they'd even want to do this, but they obviously want to do it because was Harlow the town that he lived in?
Harlow. Yeah, Harlow.
Yeah, I mean, was Harlow the town in the first movie? Like, did it have any connection?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I mean, because the town, the house was on the kind of out in the middle of nowhere type of thing.
Right.
And so, see, that's why I wonder, like, if you go into the orphanage, there's the scene where, I should probably just learn his name instead of calling him Black Guy. I don't want to get in trouble for that, but it's kind of the only way of describing him. But it's the leader, maybe, I don't know. But he's upstairs, and that's when they were trying to find the deed. It's very fast, but there's a shot of a body sitting in a chair, and it's a male body. And I don't know if it's supposed to be a person dead or a person sleeping, or that's supposed to be somebody. But there is that shot. And I'm like, okay, so who's this supposed to be? Is this grandpa or somebody?
Oh.
Because and also, before Leatherface put on the face, there is in no way that face is of a 1-year-old. That guy was like 30.
That dude I think he's 50 in real life, the real guy who plays him. But he's still not 70. And it just bothered me because would he be 70? I think he'd be 80 by now, right? Or
no, they said it'd be 70. So this is how they calculated it. So the original film took place in 1974. So that's when the movie took place. Right. Gunnar Hansen at the time was 26.
26.
So then if you're looking that it's supposed to be like 50 years later, he would be actually like 76. He'd be like somewhere in his 70s.
Right. So 76. So he'd be 76, 70, yeah, something like that. And so whatever, how many, because it was like, how many years from, was it 50?
She says 50 in the movie, yeah.
Jesus Christ. It can't be 50 if it's 74. Then this movie would have came out in 2024, right? Or 20.
Okay, Dante. So I could stop referring to him as the black guy. His name is Dante.
All right, look.
Think of Clerks. You know, when we're talking about him. So yeah.
Hold on.
And then Melody is the Franklin girl. Melody.
1974. That's 48 years, right? Okay. Plus 26. He'd be 74 years old. You know. So he would so Leatherface or whatever would be, yeah, that's some bullshit. Maybe they were planning on putting this out in 2024 for the 50-year reunion, but it didn't happen, you know, like they put.
Well, the copyright is last year.
Oh, it ran out last year?
No. The copyright on the film is last year, is 2001.
Okay, so that's even.
So they just released it this year.
I don't know. It's crazy.
See, like if you watch Texas Chainsaw 3D, and Adam Marcus has even talked about this because he did Jason Goes to Hell, and he was one of the co-writers on Texas Chainsaw 3D. That it's not time specified. So if you do the age of the woman who plays the cousin of Leatherface, the really good-looking brunette one who was also in oh God, what else was she? I'm blanking on what she was in, but she's beautiful. She's good. She's a good actress too. White Lotus, she was on that TV show. I keep wanting to say Godzilla because she's in San Francisco, but it might be. But yeah, if you look up the 3D one, so she's supposed to. So they have cell phones, but I think it's supposed to take place before cell phones, because if you do the date of the original film, because this is a direct sequel to that, and she's a baby when everybody comes to destroy the house, because Sally said you guys need to go there and get these people. So it's like the next day, and she's a baby. So if she's now supposed
sorry. Right. Well, I think it saves what we just did.
Yeah, it's still recording, so we're good. Okay. So we could just continue on. So that's sorry about that, people. Sorry, I don't know. Just it likes to shut down from time to time. I don't know. But yeah, so that's non-date specified, and people have commented about that a lot, which it didn't bother me actually. I kind of liked it because so with this one, to get back to the new one, the timelines don't or the ages and stuff don't match, and I still don't understand where the original film is supposed to take place.
Well, and a lot of people are complaining about the cannibalism, that there's no cannibalism in this one. It's just, it seems like PG-13 Texas Chainsaw, like it's trying to not do anything that might gross people out or whatever, except for some of the gore, might, you know what I mean? But like, that's the limit, you know what I mean? So I don't know what, there's so much with this movie. I'm going to give some credit. So I like that it kind of reminded me of Halloween 2016, which was 90 minutes. 2018? 18. Yeah. So Halloween 2018, that it was a tight 90 minutes, but there were a ton of plot holes, which were fine with me. I didn't bother me that I didn't know how they caught Michael. It didn't bother me about all that type of stuff. And I thought that's what ruined Halloween Kills. So with this one, when I saw it's 83 minutes and we're moving through the movie and I am enjoying it for the most part, it's tight. I was never bored. It moved.
And I thought, okay, there's a lot of plot holes here, just like Halloween 2018. And I'm okay with that. I'm actually fine. But then I started thinking about it, and it just doesn't line up. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I thought the film was really well shot. I thought it had some great images. I liked the music. I thought the actors were fine. It's just the characters that we don't like. And it's like, I don't know, where I just don't see how you could watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then watch this and they connect.
No. And once again, like the Sally Hardesty stuff just feels so out of place for the movie.
It does.
It just almost feels like you could have created any character, like you could have named her anything, and it still would have had the same impact that the rest of the,
it could have been her sister. Maybe she had a sister.
Maybe maybe she, well, that would have worked even better, actually, to be honest, because maybe like this, they had so a lot of movies are showing, like, you know, if somebody dies or something before the next movie comes out, they'll do like a little funeral for the person, you know, like in that movie, Gilmore Girls did this, and other stuff did it, where they'll have a funeral. And what I'm thinking is, what if they had done that, where they had a funeral for the real her, and then her sister got the call that, you know, Leatherface is back, you know, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to get vengeance, because there is the sister thing in there anyway. And she would have that bond with the two girls too. And there could have been more stuff with that. I would have liked that better, honestly, you know, but.
Well, and we also get, like, they tell, not show, which is a screenwriting sin, that she was like a Texas Ranger, that she was, and by the way, this was not shot in Texas. So, you know, it was shot in like Bulgaria
or something.
Yeah. So, you know, it's, you know, and enough people criticized, you know, part 3 for being shot in LA and not Texas. So, you know, for all those people who complained about that, which did not bother me in the slightest, because part 3 is still my favorite sequel, you know, start complaining
Jeff
about
Burr,
this
baby.
one too. Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I enjoyed part 3. I even have the most uncut version of it. Is I have a work print of the movie, and it's Jeff Burr's work cut. It's never been released.
I know this is going to be sacrilege, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this by all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans. But I think R.A. Mahilahoff is probably one of the best Leatherfaces. And probably even, I like him a little bit more than Gunner from the first one. I feel like that's the thing I'm going to get sacrilege for. Because I feel like Gunner did a great job, you know, for the first movie. But I feel like his Leatherface was sort of this, like, kind of Jason character, where he's kind of a kid, you know, he acts like a child.
Well, he is. Yeah, that's why the cook hits him a lot, because he's supposed to be, he's the dumb child. He's the dumb kid.
And then in 2, he sort of becomes a little, you know,
well, he's a teenager. Like in part 2, he's a teenager. Mentally, he's a teenager. That's why he takes the chainsaw and puts it between his legs, and he does all that type of stuff. And then part 3, I guess you could say that he's more of an adult. Yeah. And then part 4, he's the mother, because he's always dressing up like a woman. So he really embraces his, you know, being trans, I guess, in
his Norman Batesiness.
In part 4.
Funny because both was it Leatherface and Norman Bates are based off of Ed Gein,
right?
Who, you know, the notorious serial killer who would actually wear people's, you know, I think if that's correct, I might.
Yeah, he made a suit of leather from human flesh that he would then go outside and dance in the moonlight.
Yes, and he'd also wear women's clothes, if I'm correct, too, or something like.
Well, he had his mother. His mother was, that's where they got, you know, Psycho from. So he mummified his mother, and then he made furniture out of. He's my favorite serial killer. And then he made furniture out of human body parts and skin and all that stuff. And his biggest mistake was that he killed a woman in his own town. And like they say, you don't shit in your own backyard. Well, he did.
Right.
And that was the problem, is that people knew who she was, and, you know, she wouldn't be acting this way. And that kind of led them to his farm, where before he was killing people that were not nearby.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, and he would gut them. He'd gut them like pigs and stuff like that. Like he'd hang them upside down. So they'd be kind of like that. And he'd take them and cut them right down there. So there's been a few films made about him, and that are kind of interesting. So
there's also Silence of the Lambs, you know.
Buffalo Bill
Bill was very, So there's a lot of like movies that have taken that thing, because a lot of people were fascinated by Ed, and I think, I don't know, I think Leatherface is. See, I've never been a huge Leatherface fan. Like, I'm not Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan as much as I am like Friday the 13th or even Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, he's somewhat a Halloween too. You know what I'm thinking it is now? It's like I like Jason's my only favorite like silent killer, you know, kind of character. You know, I don't know why. I think. I mean, I saw on Facebook some people were saying, "Oh, this is my second favorite Leatherface." To me, he didn't act like Leatherface at all. Yeah, Leatherface would oink. I mean, watch the original movie. So if this is a sequel to the original movie, Leatherface oinked and he made other noises. He screams, you know, because that's the thing. He's a little kid. The original film is kind of the same thing as this one is. Leatherface is not the bad guy in the original movie. It's the teenagers that trespass, and he freaks out. So like when he sees the guy standing in his hallway and he hits him with the hammer and closes the door, he's like freaking out. And then he like runs up to the window and he's looking at the window like, why did they keep coming here? Why did they keep coming here? But for his, you know, mind, you know, he sees them as kind of like cattle and stuff. That's how he gets rid of them. So they're trespassing. It's their fault of what happened to them, because Leatherface wasn't doing anything. He was just in his house. Mm-hmm. You know, and as far as we know, he wasn't killing people. Right. Well, he wouldn't have killed anybody if nobody trespassed onto his property, you know, and everything. Like if he, you know, every single time it's like, hey, I'm like, remember the scene with your favorite guy coming into the you know room, and you know, and your least favorite girl, I guess, you know, showing off the you know, showing off in the mirror where he was and everything. And so he helped him fight, you know, He was protecting his house. He was, you know, like this guy was coming into his domain and was threatening his place, you know. By the way, I will say that my favorite girl in the whole movie was the blonde girl. I liked her a lot, and I was sad she was the first to die.
That would be Ruth.
That'd be Ruth. She was wonderful. I loved her.
You know, it's funny is that, you know, we're referring to these people in other ways than their name. And then so we said, okay, let's stop this. The guy, that's Dante. We got Melody. We now have Ruth. But Dante's girlfriend, Lila, okay. Dante's girlfriend is simply known as Dante's girlfriend. So I guess if we refer to her as Dante's girlfriend, we're okay. So
is that what it's listed on IMDb as?
Yeah, that's what it says, right? Yeah. Oh, Dante's girlfriend. She doesn't even have a name.
But you said it was Ruth?
Ruth is the blonde that you mentioned. She's the one who dies in the cop van.
Okay, I thought she was Dante's. Which one's Dante's? No, that was Dante's girlfriend. She was the blonde girl.
No, it says right here, Dante, Jessica, and it's the black girl on the bus with the really frizzy hair, and it says right here, Dante's girlfriend.
Hold on a second.
Unless they have this listed wrong. Yeah, I thought Ruth was. Yeah, come to think, I thought Ruth was his girlfriend.
I'm not seeing Dante's girlfriend on here.
It says Melody, it's right here. Look,
Leatherface.
Look for her.
Who? What's her name?
It doesn't. Jessica. Alain? All I did was look up the film, and then I scrolled down to cast.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. No,
So
on mine it says Jessica Lange is Catherine, which was the black girl. Oh,
it says
God,
it says
that sounds terrible, but
it says
the
right
lady,
there, Dante's girlfriend. I'm not lying.
Look,
it is.
Look at what mine says.
Mine is hard to see because it's all in white.
Can you see mine? Huh.
Kind of. I mean, it's a little blurry.
It says, but you see that this is the girl who that is saying Jessica Lange is. It's saying she's the girl who Catherine. She's the one who ran the bank. She was the bank girl. The one who gets on the bus and gets killed. So,
Yeah. Okay. So they screwed up on this. So is this being racist? Is this assuming because she's a black woman that she is dating Dante?
Maybe.
And somebody who listed this just listed her as Dante's girlfriend?
I don't know.
Because it says it right there.
Nell Hudson played Ruth, and I thought she was wonderful. She was my favorite. Just because she was the one that was trying so hard just to like make sure this, that her boyfriend had a really good turnout and really did well, and she was like, you guys need to be here.
Yeah, you need to stay.
You guys need to stay. I'll go, because like the other girl, the sister could have gone, right? And Lila could have gone because she had no point being there,
She just got dragged there, and we don't know why, except for maybe Melody is of age and the sister's underage, so she had to drag her along because she's not 18 or something. And it's weird that
no explanation.
Yeah, and it's weird that Melanie immediately assumed like she fucked the mechanic. Like, it's like that's brought up, and it's like, wow, that must have been fast then. So that's which is really weird. It's to do that. I did like how John Larroquette did the voice again.
Yeah, John Larroquette did the voice of the narrator, or whatever. And that was pretty cool.
But yeah, why? Well, the sister cares because she's a Gen Xer. That's the thing, or Gen Z, I guess I should say. I'm actually Gen X. Yeah, that. I mean that's because she can't be hanging out with somebody from the South. That's that's what I think her mind is: Confederate flag, gun, redneck.
Why is
racist.
She moving to the South? Why is she like, like why are they building something in the South?
Because they can take this town that's now. I want to let people know who are watching this is I'm very much against this stuff. I'm Democrat. I'm against guns. I don't like the Confederate flag. I think the South needs to get over the Civil War. All of that. So I'm only referring to what's in the movie. So they buy this town that's in this area that apparently still, raises the Confederate flag to then make it with their values and what they feel and their political views. So in some ways they're no better than the people that are already there because they're not saving the town. They're converting the town. Everybody's gone. Yeah, it's like the mechanic is there for some reason. And then the woman at the orphanage, I don't want to say that she's the mom because I don't think technically she is. And then the couple cops.
Like, her name was Mrs. MC. And I don't know what that was supposed to, like why that was supposed to, because you never hear her name. She never says her name in the movie. So having that name in the IMDb credit makes me wonder what MC is supposed to stand for, as far as, because it's not Sawyer,
Right.
So what, I don't know. Like, is that supposed to have some kind of relevance to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I don't know. This just drove me nuts because it just didn't feel like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It felt like somebody doing a fan film, but with a lot bigger budget, and stuff. I don't know.
Uh, yeah, it's. I'm trying. I'm gonna look up something here. 74 cast. Hold on. MC. No, I was trying to think maybe it was something towards the original movie, but yeah, it's just there's too many. I mean, there's some really good shots. And like I like Leatherface standing there with the chainsaw as the bus goes past him. It's in the trailer too. I like that shot. I like him. I like the poster and the shot of him popping up in like the sunflower seeds, because it's such a weird place for him to be. And I mentioned to you before that I like if you take Michael Myers and put him in the snow, I think is interesting. So to have Leatherface standing in like, a field of sunflower, like seed, sunflower seed flowers, that it's interesting. And so that was an interesting shot. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know how this is Leatherface. I don't know how this is a Texas Chainsaw film, except in name only.
Yeah, I mean, other than it's supposed to be a part 2, but I don't feel like it's a part 2. Like you said, you can watch Halloween 1978, and then you can watch Halloween 2018, and you can see sort of the, you can see it. You can see the, what's the, I guess the overall thing of it, like that it actually like feels like they go hand in hand together, because they do, because I feel like whoever wrote this movie, and I know it had some, and somebody said something about directors, like some, and I don't know if this was just them saying this, but like that the directors changed halfway through filming. That would almost make sense if that's actually true. So I don't know. I did not look into that enough. But that would almost make sense because this movie feels sort of misplaced, like, like half and half of what was going to happen.
Well, I mean, it feels like that the prequel, Leatherface, that it just doesn't fit. So I'm supposed to watch Leatherface, the prequel. Then I'm supposed to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then I'm supposed to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they should line up, and they don't.
Okay. So on August 24th, 2020, initial directors and brothers, Ryan Tohill and Andy Tohill, split from the project during the film's first week of production in Bulgaria. The duo was replaced with David Blue Garcia, who scrapped and reshot the previous footage. So, yes, that wasn't the way it was. But, I guess I would have loved to see what those guys would have done, because maybe they would have done it better. I don't know. Maybe you just, maybe it wouldn't have been. I don't know. Who knows what it would have been like?
Well, yeah, there's too many inconsistencies. Like, was Leatherface hiding at the orphanage because he's a very good maintenance person, because he put the chainsaw in the wall, patched the wall, and then wallpapered the wall, and it was seamless. So is he really good at maintenance? Is he, or did somebody in town do that?
Are you saying you want Leatherface to do your walls?
I do have some like nail holes and stuff I need to get covered and repainted. So yeah, I mean, if he's available, and if he comes cheap,
as long as he's not going to kill you, right?
I think as long as I don't kill his mom or surrogate mom, I think that would be okay. And why is there gasoline still in the chainsaw? Gasoline evaporates. That thing wouldn't start at all.
Well, you know what? There was a lot of problems with that chainsaw. I noticed like every movie does this with chainsaws, where the chainsaw, once it's not being, touched, it still runs and everything. That doesn't fucking happen, and so that shit bothers me when I see it. When I'm like watching the chainsaw still going around and around and around, I'm like, nobody's fucking doing anything with it. It's would be turned off at this rate, unless you have something like holding it up, to, you know what I mean?
I mean, technically it could still work, but he would probably have to oil it. He'd probably have to put gas in it. He would probably have to, if he could get it running, probably run it for a little bit. It's just like the Mask and Rob Zombie's stuff when Michael goes back and pulls it out of the house. Yeah, it is messed up a little bit, from the elements. But
why did he have it stuck back there anyway?
I guess he's hiding that he doesn't want people to know that he's Leatherface. Which to me doesn't sound like Leatherface. My thought on the original series is, so he's twirling the thing around, and then the chainsaw around. Sally goes into town, and they split, and they end up at the amusement park. And then from there, allegedly everybody dies. And then, except for Leatherface somehow survives with having the chainsaw in his stomach. And he then goes to a different family. There's families like this, like everywhere. Like there's like these cannibal families everywhere. And so he then goes to the family in part 3, and they take him in because he's family. And then once they're all taken care of, then he's like, well, screw, now I got to go to this other family. And then he goes hangs out with, that family in part 4. That they're just different families, but they all know of each other.
That's where the Saul's family, right, comes from anyway, right? Like pretty much. That would be my guess.
Did you say the Star Wars?
No. You know how it says Saul is family?
Oh, the Saw is family. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that wherever he goes, as long as he brings his chainsaw, he's family.
Well, yeah, that's what he's known as. Like each family member, obviously you need a cook, so there's going to be a cook. You obviously need certain things, and that's why he has his regular chainsaw, and then they give him that brand new giant one. That says the Saw is family on it. And then, of course, we're supposed to think that at some point, I guess Leatherface raped one of his victims and gave birth to the little girl, because that's supposed to be his daughter. If you read all the fan stuff, is that it's so it's so I don't know how Leatherface prequel, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are all supposed to line up together. I'm not, because in Leatherface, the prequel, they are in an orphanage, right?
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they're in an orphanage, or some sort of facility, and they escape. They get out. So I don't know if the orphanage in this one is supposed to be a reference to that one.
Probably. That's probably my only guess. And that would kind of make sense, I guess. I don't know. I would love to look up more stuff on this stuff, like what other people are guessing and people are thinking, because this movie just drives me crazy. I don't know. I feel like the characters are dumb. Like all the characters are so
they're
so useless. It almost and then it really pisses me off that like I'm like, okay, they got away, we're done. Like it's over. Oh no, he's back and killing people and killing them, and she's watching as the
yeah. What is this with the electric car that just automatically drives? I mean, I did enjoy him pulling them, her out of the sunroof. I think it's the sunroof or the side window, whatever it is, and then cutting her head off, because that just means she won't be back for the next movie. So
I hope neither of them are. I hope
she might be. She may be the new Sally. But I mean, when I worked at Life Storage, which is the first storage facility I lived at, Donnie Osmond was a tenant there. And he would come in and go, he'd call me Johnny. And one day he comes and goes, Johnny, come here. Come here, I want to show you something. I'm like, okay, cool. What is it? And he takes me out and he shows me his car. And he goes, it drives itself. And I go, what? He goes, it drives itself. All I have to do is tell it where to go, and it will drive there. Do you know how expensive that car is? I mean, it's so expensive that only somebody like Donny Osmond can afford it. So where did they get this car? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody could correct me in the comments. But to my knowledge, that self-driving car is really expensive. So how can they afford it?
Because they're kids, man. I mean, they shouldn't be able to afford this shit. No.
Well, now I did read somewhere that they're influencers. Did you get that?
No.
No, either did I, because how could somebody like Dante or Melody or somebody purchase this town? Look how young they are. So where are they getting their money from?
I mean,
so are they
a
like
lot of it was the bank or whatever, but like,
yeah, they do talk about the bank, but then why would a bank take a chance on a deserted town that's a 4-hour drive away? You know, unless they're converting it into Disneyland. You know, Vegas didn't even, you know, that's why Bugsy Malone was killed. Bugsy Siegel was killed, is because the mob thought that he screwed them by making Vegas 4 hours outside of LA.
Mm-hmm. The influencer thing might be like with remember she was looking at the YouTube thing that the guy put up or whatever, like the little like commercial basically saying, hey guys, check out this, you know, come to this town, blah blah blah, you know. I think that might be where people think they're influencers, but you know, it didn't show how many like,
but you have to show that you have to tell us. So if you're going to be lazy and not film it, then you at least have to tell us that they're popular influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because there are people out there like Shane Dawson and some of these, like the two brothers, that all these guys are assholes, but they're billionaires. I mean, they have a ton of money and they buy mansions and and film studios and all that from being, you know, influencers. So, okay, I can believe that. I can believe that Shane Dawson buys this town. Sure. But you're not telling us that any one of these people are on the level that he and some of these other people are.
Yeah, and the worst part is they have money, you know, to make this movie. So they could have made a fake Instagram account, showed that these guys had like fake followers or whatever, like billions of followers, you know, and how, you know, I mean, did you see the size of that bus though? It just wasn't that like impressive to me. Like all of that stuff wasn't that impressive. Like, I don't even know why were
the sign looked kind of cheap. Yeah.
Why were they even there?
It's they had the opportunity to make something, and Netflix put it out there, and they made it because they knew it would get views and that it would make money. I mean, here's where I'll give Scream 5 a little bit of credit is if you look around, like when they do the Stab 8 trailer, we see, you know, what's her face from part 4 is alive. It's that little video up there with her in it. So if you're paying attention and you're looking, the filmmakers knew to put that in there. And that's smart. So they did a good job with that.
But see, here's the thing. The filmmakers for Scream 5 actually cared about Scream. They actually liked
I would believe that. I would believe that.
And they're probably fans first before they, you know, oh my God, this is an actual chance to make this. Oh my God, I feel so grateful. That kind of thing. The guy who made this movie doesn't feel like he even knows who the fuck Leatherface is. And that's how I feel. And maybe he does. Maybe he's a big fan. I don't know. But he didn't feel like it. You know, maybe it's the producers. Maybe it's Netflix. Maybe it was the writers. You know, I don't know. But it just, nobody felt like they were like fans of Leatherface. It feels like they were fans of this generation and exploiting this generation in some way and trying to make, you know, a hip 2022 horror film, you know, which if you took like I said this about Sally, but once again, if you take Leatherface out of this movie and you put somebody else in here, it wouldn't have changed anything. It
could have just been a random killer. Sure.
Right. It could have been, you could have been like, that person with a chainsaw too. How many movies have you seen with a killer with a chainsaw? People might go, oh man, this feels like, Leatherface, but obviously him putting the face on made him Leatherface. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, and you could say that about other aspects of this too. I mean, you could, take his surrogate mother out from the orphanage. What if he just lives there?
Well, because I feel like the first thing that happened, now that I'm thinking about it, how did he get back to the town without anybody noticing?
We see him walking on the road. He just walks.
We see him walking on the road, but he would have passed by a bunch of people in the bus, right? I mean, unless there's a back way through the thing, but I don't think so. They would have saw that. They would have saw that he was walking. Like it. I don't think so. I think that was a big fucking plot hole right there.
Well, because remember, at the end of the film where he ends up back at the Sawyer house, he's just walking down the road.
I know.
He's not taking. It doesn't look like he's. So it doesn't seem like he's very smart to maybe take like a back road. Once again, it's because the script says so. That's what the script demands, and so that's what they had him do. So my guess is that probably somebody wanted to make another Texas Chainsaw, and then Netflix got involved, and they said, "Hey, we have this town
in Bulgaria.
Let's base the Texas Chainsaw in this town. Come up with a story." And the writer's like, "Oh fuck, what do we do?" I do give them credit for making something different. It isn't just the same movie, because part 2 is kind of just a remake of part 1, and part 3 is a remake of part 1. Part 4 is a remake of part 1. They all, for the most part, they all have dinner scenes. They're all more or less just the same movie over and over again. So this is different.
This movie reminds me of Wrong Turn, 2020 or whatever it was, 2021, whenever it came out. But the new Wrong Turn movie,
5. It reminds me of part 5.
I think is that the no what I thought Wrong Turn.
Part 5 is Bloodlines. Part 5 is the one that's in the town.
I don't mean that one. I mean the new one. The
2021 one. The brand new one where they're like moss people.
Yeah, where it has nothing to do with the original Wrong Turn, except for the fact that it's called Wrong Turn. This felt a little bit like that because it was a different. It was, even though it was Leatherface, they call him that, all this stuff. And they took out the cannibal stuff. They took out everything from the first one. They still called it Texas Chainsaw Massacre instead of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just so people can, be confused with Texas Chainsaw 3D, I guess. I don't know. Is it pretty soon just going to be called Chainsaw Massacre? Like, or is that going to be the new one that they do?
I think that they're just going to keep shortening. So we had before, just like Texas Chainsaw 3D. And then I figured eventually we would have just Chainsaw. And then it would maybe be Texas. And then you might have like
might have a massacre there somewhere.
Yeah, and then it would become Chain. So it'd be like the Fast and Furious films where they would keep kind of playing around with the title a little bit.
Dude, this 2 Texas, 2 Chainsaw. I love that. That's
there. You go.
Let's do it. Next movie, 2 Texas, 2 Chainsaw. I'd be down with it, especially with fast cars and shit. Let's do it.
Have Leatherface in there fighting Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
it's all about family.
Driving.
It's all about family. Both films are about family.
There you go. Saw his family, and so is fucking
Too Fast, 2 Chainsaw, and you got Vin Diesel there, and you got Leatherface. I like that. I'd go see that.
I'd see that too.
Wow. And you can have like Netflix. Vin Diesel yelling at Leatherface because he's not talking. Gotta get some Netflix, like wacky stuff in there. Yep.
Netflix call us. We'll set it up. We'll make it work.
I'll sue you. I'll sue you, Netflix, if you steal this.
Don't sue them.
Copyright Moody Ward. Hey, it's our idea. Came up with it together.
I know, but you know what? They're not going to do it anyway.
No,
they don't have the guts.
Hey, this is being recorded. This is being recorded and it has a date on it. So if in like 2 years they come out with another film and it's this story, I can use this against them because it's got a date and it's video. So
do it.
So is there anything else that we can think about with this? I mean, what did you like? So far, we've been very negative. I've mentioned some stuff I've liked. What did you like?
Oh no, I mean, I like the kills. I liked pretty much I was talked about this. I don't go to I don't go to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I care about the stories, because the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre pissed me off when I first watched it, because I hated Franklin so bad. I hated him so bad. I was like, and I felt terrible because I'm like, he's a disabled character. I should, care about him.
There's a whole theory behind Franklin about why the hitchhiker cuts Franklin and then like uses his blood and he makes that little tinfoil thing that he catches on fire, and then he uses the blood like the hitchhiker on the side of the van, and then Franklin starts eating what are people, and that he slowly is supposed to be getting possessed, and that Franklin, even in the house when everybody's having fun, he does the raspberry, which is the same raspberry that the hitchhiker did. So some people are theorizing that like the spirit of the hitchhiker went into Franklin, which is why he gets more and more annoying throughout the whole movie.
Okay, well, whatever people are theorizing, it doesn't matter because the character is just fucking annoying. But honestly, though, this movie had, who did you say was the Franklin? It was the chick,
Melody.
Melody was sort of the Franklin.
The older sister. Yeah.
I kind of liked her more than Franklin, honestly. But I can see that, and she had the hair and everything, it totally. I like, now that you say it, now I'm not gonna get Franklin out of my head when I again.
I think that's why people are calling it woke and stuff, is that she comes off as this kind of cancel culture woke feminist, social justice warrior that's just, to me, just downright annoying and pretentious, and needs to, just mind her own business and stuff, where you have the far right equivalent to that too, but then you also have the far left equivalent to that, and that's kind of how she comes off. So it's very, I've come to learn that not everybody who voted for Trump is a horrible human being. Some people just vote Republican, just like I vote Democrat. And she didn't seem to accept that with, let's say the mechanic. She just immediately attacked him for being Southern, which isn't fair when he actually ended up trying to save her.
Sort of.
But he tried saving her. Who is?
I am. I'm sort of Southern.
That's it. Our show is over. Good night, everybody.
I mean, see, that's the thing. That would have been that girl. She would have been like, "Oh, you're Southern. You can't be on my podcast." And that shit kind of pisses me off. Is like, that doesn't, my state sort of it used to be a red state, then it became a blue state. Now it's sort of a purple state. I don't know. We're all fucking confused in my state. But it's it pisses me off because it's not like all Southern people are trash, or whatever. But that's sort of the stereotype or whatever that people need to get the fuck over, in my opinion, But
well, and she's somebody who isn't. I think some of the other ones are, might have been, but she was definitely, She probably cried when Bernie wasn't president, type of thing.
All right, let's not get into political because I'm sure you got people on different sides or people checking it out or different sides. Who gives a fuck?
Well, it's just like, I bring it up because people say the film is woke, and that's where I would almost like to talk to the writer, because it is and it isn't. It's pro-gun and it's anti-gun. It falls on both sides. So I'm not really sure what they're trying to say, because I was cheering Leatherface when he was killing everybody, because they're all so annoying. I thought it was sad that the mechanic guy died, and I didn't like that the cops died and all that, because they actually kind of seemed to be nice people, but everybody else, everybody on the bus and all that, were just kind of a-holes. So I was cheering.
Once again, I was sad that that Ruth died. I liked her.
She seemed like a nice person. Yeah.
She did. She seemed like she cared, and she didn't deserve that shit. I was hoping she would live, but I was pretty sure she was screwed. I mean, she was out in the middle of nowhere in the fucking cornfields or whatever. Well,
it's guilt by association. She wasn't there. She wasn't there when the mom died, but she knows the people who did it, so she has to die too. Because what would stop? Why wouldn't why maybe is the town empty because Leatherface killed everybody? Like, why would after the first movie Leatherface stop and become, I don't know, Steve, and then be at the orphanage, and then because of his mom dying, he starts back up again? So did he walk out because he's obviously taking care of the woman at the orphanage? So if she needed, something, they had to eat. So was he going to the grocery store? If she's like, Steve, I'd like some coffee. Can you go get me coffee? Would he go get coffee?
Well, you keep calling him Steve.
It's just a name. Steve is the name that I give to basically a generic white person. I just call them Steve. It's also my name that I use at work when I don't want to give my real name. I just say, yeah, my name is Steve. It's just very generic to me. And so, what does Leatherface do? If they need something, let's say the toilet gets clogged, does he fix it?
And how do they get food? Are all the stores still there to another town, pick up food, it's 4 hours away, pick up food and bring it back? There's so much ridiculousness that doesn't make any sense. Why would these people want to live in a town where there's just the two of them? Whereas the closest hospital is far away. I
guess she's so old, that she'll just die there because she's been there for most of her life.
But why is he there? Just to take care of her?
Yeah, because that's where it doesn't make sense to the first movie. So if because he's in that picture with his face crossed off or whatever that's supposed to be, and so I'm guessing that he was there he was orphaned as a kid.
I don't know.
And then he stayed there his entire life, and then when she died, he turned into Leatherface or turned back into Leatherface.
You realize we've been talking for almost an hour and a half about a movie, and we still don't even get half of it.
No, I don't understand this movie. I was entertained by it. I didn't think it was boring. I did think it was kind of fun, but it's got huge problems. So all these people on Facebook, and I've actually been asked. Will Colazzo messaged me and said, John, don't hate on this movie, because he saw that I was going to be reviewing it with you. He's like, the film is wonderful. It's awesome. And I just did a little winking emoji, but I don't get it. I don't I think it's got the Ghostbusters Afterlife disease, that it's nostalgia, that you have to like it because it's nostalgia. And because it's Leatherface and it's brand new, you're going to like it.
Well, they didn't do the one thing that everybody hates about Ghostbuster Afterlife, which is too much nostalgia. Because really, technically, nothing is nostalgia. The him putting on his face, that's the only thing that, and having a chainsaw going like this. That's That's the only stuff that's from the original movies. Everything else is completely different and new and weird and feels like this is not the same fucking movies as the rest.
So question then, if they released that remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, let's say next Friday, like the series ended where it ended, right? With Robert Englund, it ended with him. And now they're doing a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street called A Nightmare on Elm Street. Would this film, the one that bombed, would everybody then say that they loved it? Just like they do with Ghostbusters, just like they do with Spider-Man, just like they do with the only one that they seem to not like is Matrix.
Wait, what are you talking about though? Like
I'm saying if you take that remake that was made years ago, still call it A Nightmare on Elm Street and all that, but release it today.
But like okay.
Like it's a brand new movie. It's a brand new film, but it's the exact same movie that was made years ago. Would people then say they like it?
No, because it didn't do the same thing that these movies do, which is call it Nightmare on Elm Street, but have it be like a sequel to the original movie. Nightmare on Elm Street was not a sequel. It was a straight up remake of the movie with another person playing Freddy Krueger and looking like the Cat in the Hat stole, the Grinch stole, Freddy. That honestly, that fucking remake pissed me off. It just didn't, it felt like they just did not give a crap about. And so if you put it out now, everybody would hate it still.
I don't know. I don't know about that because I'm completely removed from everybody else because I'm one of the only people who liked Matrix Resurrections, and I haven't liked anything else. I thought Ghostbusters was okay. I thought Spider-Man was okay. I didn't like Texas, and so I'm definitely in the minority when it comes to this. But yet,
did you see the Nightmare on Elm Street remake?
Yeah, I own it. Yeah.
Do you like it?
Not really. No.
So
but
if it were made today, it would still bomb.
I don't know. I think people like things because they're told to like them. So if you're told you're going, that you're going to like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's Leatherface and he has a chainsaw and it has some riffs to the original movie, that you're just going to go, oh, I like it, even though it's a bad movie.
Let me see what the Rotten Tomato is so far. I don't know if they have like a good, I don't know if it has to be up for a week before they'll, do that. But like, this might be a good gauge to see what people are thinking about it, audience wise too. But 30% splat for Texas Chainsaw. Now that's out of 86 reviews. 37 in the audience. People are hating on this movie, man.
Facebook is loving it.
I know Facebook is loving it. Some horror fans are, and some horror fans are hating it. Honestly, I've been seeing a lot of people say really negative things. They don't like it, but some people really do like it. So I mean, it's divisive. It's the same thing as Scream. A lot of people liked it, and a lot of people hated it. You and I are going to do a review of it. And we're all both on this, different aspects of it. And we can both agree that this movie was kind of meh. Like I think we can both say that because it had moments that were pretty cool, and it had some good gore and some characters that we sort of liked at times, but like the majority of the movie sucked, and was terrible. And I'm half and half on it,
So on Facebook, yeah, okay. So I was about to say, so what did you give it?
I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Now I could have given it 2.5, but I actually gave it more because I really did like the I did like the kills, and the kills really, like, if they didn't have the kills in it that were good, if everything was like off screen or something, and you really didn't see many deaths, I would have hated the movie absolutely, and would have just been like, this movie's trash. But because I really go see these movies for the kids being murdered and everything, because fuck those kids. I actually enjoyed it, you know.
So 3 out of 5
enjoyed
chainsaws is what you
that
give it.
part. So I can't give it a 5 out of 5. Give it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did I lose you? Okay. What do you give it?
I give it 2. 2 chainsaws out of 5.
Okay. That's not bad.
No, I like that it was 83 minutes. I like that it was tight, kind of like Halloween 2018. And I like that. I was not bored. I enjoyed myself in it. The characters didn't annoy me enough to turn it off, but I did enjoy watching them die. I don't know if they were supposed to be as annoying as they're supposed to be, because even the people in the Friday the 13th remake, some of them were really annoying, and you were hoping they would die, and that was on purpose. So did the writers purposely write these, Gen Zers so that we don't like them? Is this kind of an anti-Gen Z movie? So I don't know.
Like it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so I give it 2 stars. I'll still buy it when it comes out, because I'm a completist. But
will it come out? Like, will it come out on DVD?
Oh, that's right. It's friggin' Netflix, man.
I don't know. Maybe they will.
I don't think so.
On there.
No, I mean that's the thing I don't like about them having Cobra Kai, is they just friggin' don't release things. If you want to watch it, you have to
release Cobra Kai.
No, YouTube released seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's something where and once again, I don't promote this, but if you want something off of YouTube and to keep it yourself, you have to sail those high seas to get it, to put it into your own collection, and that would be Netflix's fault. So if you wanted to own Texas Chainsaw, knowing that it may never come out and you can only watch it on Netflix, I wouldn't blame somebody for downloading it.
Right. And then I guess it's a Netflix original, so it'll probably always be on Netflix. There's no chance that it'll like lose its rights and go somewhere else or something, So you can always watch it on streaming on Netflix, but some people don't like streaming, and stuff. So sorry to those who won't be able to watch it.
Yeah, I've accepted streaming for this type of thing, but then I want it to come out I want a physical copy of it. I want it to sit right next to my other. I don't want the last film in the Texas Chainsaw series to be Leatherface. I would prefer it to be this film. So, it starts with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and maybe it ends with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm fine with that. I don't want it to end with Leatherface.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, the Next Generation, though, wouldn't that be the last one?
No, Leatherface, the prequel.
But that was third.
No, that's that's Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, or just Part 3. Leatherface, the prequel.
So are you doing it in? Are you doing it in order, or like?
Well, the order that they were released. The order that they were released.
Well, the first movie was in 1974. The second one was and then are you not counting the remakes?
No, the last film was Leatherface, where he's a kid, where it's the period piece.
Oh,
where it's the prequel.
Oh my god, I was thinking of the other Leatherface. Oh god.
No, that's Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. This is just simply Leatherface.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I'm so confused. I forgot about that one, honestly, because I almost for a while didn't even like think it was. I thought it was just another movie called Leatherface, because I think that's how they marketed it at first. So you didn't know it was a Leatherface movie, and then later they were like, "Yeah, this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're doing," But yeah, I don't think I even watched it. So
yeah, it shows the him as a little kid with dragging the chainsaw on the ground is the poster, like, and he's going towards like a farmhouse or something like that. So
this okay, all right, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. Moving on.
All right. So you give it 3 chainsaws. I give it 2
stars,
chainsaws.
3 chainsaws. Yeah.
I think we should do chainsaws because of what we're doing.
Because of what we're doing. That sounds good to me. I like it.
But would you recommend it though? Do you recommend it to people?
I recommend it if you're just want something brainless and kind of where it's just sort of people just getting killed and shit, for a horror film, especially if you want Gen Zers dying. There you go.
Yeah, I guess I could recommend it because it's on Netflix. That's the thing, is that if you subscribe to Netflix, you don't have to pay for it. If you sail the high seas, then you don't have to pay for it either. So, check it out. Why not? It's fun, but horribly flawed. So
exactly. There you go. Right. That should be the tagline for the movie. Fun but horribly flawed.
John Ward.
Yeah. John Ward. Dark Park Films.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That should be your
that they could take. I give them permission to take that. So that's fine by me.
Yeah, take that from you. But everything else, if you make that fucking 2 chainsaw or 2 fast 2 chainsaw, you gotta get credit.
Gotta get a little of the, a little bit of that money.
At least
there.
Story credit.
Something, yeah. I can see that
idea.
Now you're coming around to my side, so
and fucking pay us to write it. We'll fucking write it. We'll do it in probably less time than whatever it took you to write this piece of shit.
We'll make it a fan film.
No. Please don't.
And then we won't be able to do anything with it.
I know. And then on top of that, we'll probably never be looked at for making movies, because have you ever seen a person do a fan film and then later they got to do the movie? Think that doesn't happen. No. Let's not do that.
There's only been one time when a fan ever became anything, and that was Judas Priest. Is when, and that's what the movie Rockstar is based off of, is when Rob Halford left Judas Priest, and then they brought in the lead singer of the cover band for that band.
Okay.
And in real life, he made 2 albums with Judas Priest and stuff like that. So there's maybe only 1 or 2 times when something that is fan related actually became reality.
Yeah, but it really doesn't really happen. And that's music. I don't know. I don't think in film it's looked at, it's looked well upon.
No.
No. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, man. This is awesome. Thank you for asking me to come on.
Of course. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And we're going to wrap this up now. So, and I'll put this up on Monday. So before everybody can see it. Yay. All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks everybody for joining us. And I will see you on the next 2 filmmakers reviewing one film. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out after the video. And thank you for watching the very first Dark Park Films sponsored video. And who is that sponsor? Well, I've now learned if I do this with my hands, they go to the right area. There we go. That would be Wildlife Command Center Coffee. And you can purchase it right there. You can go to their website, which is buyWCC.com, and pick up their coffee. They have 2 blends, which I'm going to show you now. The first coffee is this one right here. This is a breakfast blend. It's 10 ounces and it is a medium ground. And it does say, and it's breakfast, like I said, and this is what it says right here. It says, early bird can catch the worm. So there you go, a breakfast blend coffee that helps you catch the worm in the morning. And I really like this one. I'm more of a breakfast kind of blend coffee guy in the morning. So this one I really like. It has that little bit of oomph to it to kind of get you moving, get you up and out. And so I really enjoy this one, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the other one, which is this one right here. This is a dark roast. It is also 10 ounces. And both of these are $7.99 at their website. Pretty good price for 10 ounces worth of ground coffee. This one is, it's a little darker. So it's, I think it's better for drinking at night. Maybe if you're, writing a screenplay or if you're filming, this has got that oomph, that double punch to get you going. So this is one that I also recommend. I like both of these quite a bit, but I kind of do, the breakfast in the morning and then the dark more at night. So I recommend both of these quite a bit. And how did I find out about these two, these two coffees here? And how did I find out about Wildlife Command Center? Well, when I was working on Night of the Zomghouls, there was a box of coffee that was just sitting there filled with coffee. And we didn't know what to do with it. Like, whose is this? Who brought it? Why is it here? And so we just kept going to the store and buying coffee. And then one day I said, why don't we just get the coffee out of the box and use that instead of, wasting money on going to Smith's or whatever and picking up coffee. So we did. We did not realize that it was the Wildlife Command Center coffee and that it, was sponsoring the movie. And it was great coffee. Everybody loved it. And we just went right through it. By the last day of filming, this coffee was gone. And I went and found out, about Wildlife Command Center, asked if they would like to be a sponsor for Dark Park Films, for their coffee. As many of you know, I love coffee. I love coffee mugs. And so this was a perfect match. And Wildlife Command Center is great with animals. So they provide a great service for rescuing animals. So it's kind of that double whammy for me, where coffee, helping animals, you can't go wrong. And they were even cool enough to send me, get in there, a coffee mug, because they knew that I liked coffee mugs. And right now, I don't get that. That a little bit. I'm going to go on the keyboard, but that's their dark blend, because I'm recording this at night. So I am actually drinking that while recording. Also, one thing that you can get at their website, which is cool, is you can get this. There you go. This pocket knife, which is $9.49. And this is pretty cool because it has their name on it. Wildlife Command Center, we can catch it. And this is what it looks like. Put that down there. There we go. Fully out. So you're getting like the bottle opener, you got the corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a blade, and then you got this little hook thing that you could pop it into something that doesn't have a tab, and then the liquid or whatever in there will come out. So this is pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep mine in my car, because you never know. You might need a pocket knife. So please support them. I'm going to have links down below, where you can, check out just the Wildlife Command Center. I'll also have a link for Wildlife Command Center coffee, and it will basically be for both these guys right here. And please support them. I support them. I think what they do is pretty awesome. And maybe this coffee will be on your set or in your kitchen. It will definitely be, on my set in my kitchen. I know that. So please, once again, I'm going to show you these. please go to their website and pick up their coffee and make it part of your day or night, depending on which one you like. So that'll be about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, so thank you. And once again, please support my channel. Please support the Wildlife Command Center. And I will catch you later. Bye.